Stadia.
I'm about to bust. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was the bathroom. Oh, good
Lord. We've done this a lot. Like, I really thought that streaming and stuff was going to be in the future, but like, it was going to be stuff we, cover later. But Stadia, other companies are all jumping on. xCloud.
PS Now.
That's not there yet, but I'm sure it's coming. And there's also another one.
It's there yet.
What was the other one? Can't remember what it was. You come here for the facts and we don't know them. But there's another one that's coming out today, and that's what we're here to talk about.
And I think it's just further proof of how ludicrous Stadia's business model is. Our issue with Stadia has never been about the technology. It will get better. It's the completely bonkers idea that you need to like pay for hardware, pay for access, pay for games, and those games are completely separate from your existing library. No cross. Not
good.
Every time I think about it, I have a meltdown. Guys, there's a new news thing from Nvidia. Anyway, Nvidia, GeForce Now. It's streaming like all this drop.
Well, that was the nicest drop we've ever done.
That was a very smooth
Let's just
drop.
take a moment to appreciate what that was.
Okay,
Stadia, the look you want in performance.
Can I just say firstly, is it Nvidia or Nvidia?
Nvidia. If you're asking anyone, it's Nvidia.
I say Nvidia, so you're just gonna have to put up with it.
Now I feel like I want to say Nvidia now because I heard you say it.
I'm gonna say Nvidia. I'm gonna say Beta. I'm gonna say tomatoes.
Tomatoes and the data and also
data. That's a good one.
That's also a good one.
Americans love when we say that, guys. Stadia, obviously we've spoken about it for quite a while. It's a streaming service that you should not purchase because it will not exist in 2 years and all of your money has been wasted. What it has done though is set off the sort of cloud streaming wars of this generation. The idea that you don't actually have to buy hardware to play games, you can kind of just stream it in the cloud. Not a new idea, it's actually been around for a very long time. It's just taken a long time to get the technology ready where it's scalable, and also it's taken time for people's internet to catch up and be ready to go. We've spoken a lot about how Stadia is terrible, and etc, etc. I'm not going to talk about it again, but what's clear though is that lots of competitors are popping up to sort of like nip at their heels. Most recently, Project xCloud has really been getting a lot of momentum, offering what is a fantastic service without the need to spend extra money or buy extra games. So that's already a massive win.
And we've played it. It felt fantastic in terms of where it's at. I know there's probably a lot more to go in terms of what they want to do, but where it's at now, it feels great. And everyone that's played Stadia has said it was absolutely horrendous.
Well, okay, let's just be clear about that. Lots of people have said it's horrendous. Lots of people have had, or some people have had a good experience with it as well. So we don't want to mischaracterize that. Some people are enjoying their time with Stadia. I think our issue has only ever been about, well, there's two things. One, Stadia is a paid beta right now, okay? And it should not be charging people for access to what is an incomplete product. And two, the business model behind it. The technology will get better. It's the business model that makes it so bad, where you need to pay for access, pay for hardware, and pay for games. That's just complete madness. And all those games, by the way, are separate from your existing library of games. You need to buy them again, and they don't have any kind of cross-save capability. So that's madness.
Autobots, roll out!
And now a new challenger has emerged, okay? Now it's called GeForce Now. It is from Nvidia, something like that.
Nice.
And they now want to get into the streaming wars, okay? And I think what a better time to do it.
Well, when you
it actually is a good time to do it.
It is actually,
because if you can get in before xCloud and PS Now and EA's streaming, which they also want to do, get in before you might have a good shot of creating a market for yourself.
Yeah, and when you say get into it, I mean it's true in the sense that it's launching right now in North America, in Europe, in Japan, and in Korea. Okay,
Which Korea? North or South, everybody?
Nice, Sam.
No wonder.
So then Australia, of course, surprisingly left out of some cloud streaming launch. Who'd have thought?
Yet again.
But let's be real. They're not like, it's not new, by the way. This has actually been around for many years. They have been beta testing this product for at least 2 years now. I think maybe even 3 years that they've had this beta test running. So this isn't like, hey, we've got this new bullshit thing that we've never tested before. Pay us some money for it. They put a lot of groundwork into this already, and the results are pretty positive.
Yeah, this is the thing. I mean, it's good to see that they have been. I didn't even know they were doing a beta for this, but it is good to know they've been doing a solid 2 or 3 years of getting this to a point where they want to show the market. And the actual pricing is very, very compelling. Okay, it's $5 a month. Okay. If you want to pay for it, if you do not want to pay for it, you get an hour a day or an hour in a certain time frame, then you have to wait in a queue again. And if you want to pay the $5 a month, you get priority queuing, and you get 6 hours that you can play this thing non-stop.
Yeah, and
now that's a lot. I mean, it's not enough for... there's some people that want to sit there on a Sunday and play like 8 hours of games. But, I mean, 6 hours of streaming, you're probably not going to do that. If you're sitting there for 6 or 10 hours playing, you're probably doing it on your TV or your PC, everybody.
Yeah, I feel like 6 hours is obviously, like, it's a limit, and I'm sure some people, that's unacceptable, but it's like, look, man, if you're going to play 10 hours of games, you've probably got yourself some local hardware you're playing on anyway, so it's probably not for you. Do you know what I mean? But look, the thing about this is it's a try before you buy scheme, which is another thing that Stadia does not offer. Right now with Stadia, if you want to try it, you have to pay money for it. You have to buy the hardware. You have to buy access to the system at this point. It'll be free later on, but like you have to pay money. You can't, there's no try before you buy it with Stadia. You have to spend at least $130 to get it going, right? With this, it's like, well, try it for an hour. If it works and you're enjoying yourself, cool. Pay $5 a month, and now you have access to your existing library of games. And this is another point. The way this works with GeForce Now is that it's essentially like a computer in the cloud. Now, if you imagine Stadia is like an interface in the cloud that allows you to boot up a single game from the Stadia sort of archives and you can play it.
From one marketplace.
Correct. Not like that with GeForce Now. GeForce Now sort of provisions you a computer in the cloud that can run Steam, it can run Battle.net, it can run Epic Games Bad, and it can run Uplay, okay? So you basically log into your accounts on the cloud for those launches, and then the games on those launches are cached in the cloud, which means that you don't need to download the games onto that sort of like cloud computer. You can just start playing them immediately. Your own account, with your own progress, with your own games, with your own sort of like skins that you've purchased. It's all automatically there. You don't need to buy any additional games with this service. Unlike with Stadia, I'm just going to keep comparing this thing to Stadia every time, man. I just never get tired of it.
I mean, I see why though, because Stadia was like the first coming out party of streaming. It was the biggest announcement and biggest drop of streaming that we've seen. So a lot of people started that conversation off the back of Stadia.
Yeah, even though there were actually things before that, like there was this thing called Shadow, by the way, which is very similar to GeForce Now, which is like a computer in the cloud. And then of course there's, Project S Cloud, which we've spoken about a lot. There's also going to be, PS Now is already live, but they haven't really sort of promoted that much. Yeah. And in the future, Amazon have hinted that they are working on a streaming platform as well. So this is a very crowded space. If you're interested in some of the details around what you need to get this going, as I said, you need to be in North America, in Europe, in Japan, or in Korea. You need a minimum of 15 megabytes down to get things going.
Pretty achievable.
You need a recommended 30 for if you want to do 1080p 60 streaming, and you recommended 50 if you want to have like a flawless, uninterrupted kind of session with no buffering or whatever else. So I think, look, that's obviously a lot, but a lot of people have that these days, not in Australia, but anyway, we'll come back to that.
Yep. We're also expecting 20 milliseconds when you are playing. That has been promised to 80% of the homes within North America and Europe. And in Korea and Japan, you can expect 10 milliseconds latency, which is very good, everybody.
Imagine living in a country with good internet. One of the other things as well is that they're currently upgrading their hardware so that your games on GeForce Now, when you stream them, will be ray tracing enabled. Like, that's the thing they're doing. That's pretty impressive, man. Like, yeah,
I think that's a huge.
I'd buy that for $1.
I'll buy that for $5 a month. The thing is, it actually is a huge draw card because a lot of people don't have the money yet to jump on and buy the GTX 1060 or 2060, 2080, I should say. But they want to try and experience ray tracing. It's well worth the $5 a month.
For sure.
And look, it's apparently going to be at the moment holding up to 600,000 players at any given moment that are playing. Now that probably will increase. I'm sure it'll increase in time. I mean, if it's a free service, you can play an hour a day. I reckon that'll be full pretty quick, actually. Yeah. So hopefully that does increase, but they don't need to increase it for Australians because we're not playing it, everybody.
Right.
Interesting also, no iPhone, no Apple support at this moment. It is on Android, everybody.
Correct.
First time ever, I think, they've brought something to Android first and not iPhone.
Because they know PC people use Android.
Yeah.
And they knew, like, Instagram models use iPhones.
Yes.
In terms of how the service performs, this journalist from The Verge here says that he was able to beat Genichiro in Sekiro on the service, so that's pretty cool.
I mean, I couldn't even beat him, so I literally... I mean, yeah, it was not great.
It's obviously good enough to be able to do that. Look, just to summarize what this is, okay? You pay $5 a month, and you can play it wherever you like on any device that's an Android device. You just need like 30 megabytes down and you can get 1080p streaming. You don't need to buy any additional games. you are logging into your existing game accounts with all your existing progress and whatever else. 20 millisecond response time in most countries, 10 milliseconds in Japan and Korea. It's been beta tested for years, so it actually has a good sort of solid track record. We know it works. This is how you launch a product like this, man. And it's like, it's just further evidence to me that Stadia is doomed. There is no way Stadia survives between PS Now, between Project X Cloud, between Amazon's future service, and between this. There is no way that business model survives.
I think
none. Zero.
I think the killer here for Stadia is, you're already able to access your current games, where Stadia is expecting you to build another library.
I just can't believe that.
And that's the killer. If they wanted you to jump on and you pay for the service, but you have access to your games, different story.
Correct.
I think that what GeForce Now is doing is exactly what they need to do.
Totally
and I
agree.
actually. Best of luck to them, because that's awesome to see. We have another competitor on PC that's going to give Stadia a run for its money, which is not hard, because Stadia is not doing well anyway. But anyway, that is it pretty much today. Stadia. Failure.
Stadia. The look you want in performance basketball, running, and court shoes. At Kinney, the great American shoe store.